Hi. We're recording. Hello. It is Friday. I want to say January. What the fuck? It's Friday, July 23rd. And I might actually upload this. Nah, I'm going to save it. If you're watching this, hi, my name's Tori Franco. If you're listening, hello, my name is Tori Franco. This is the Tori Franco Show, where I talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. But lately it's been personal development, self-love, self-help, whatever the fuck, mental health. 'Cause I feel like that's, something I'm passionate about. And in this episode, I just wanted to, if you're listening or watching, then that means you've hopefully already heard the episode of my plan to go into solitude for 2 fucking weeks and create better habits for myself, i.e. Eating better, cleaner, walking every single day for 3 miles a day, meditating, creating a schedule for myself, just being there for myself, affirmations in the mirror, just a lot of self-love, taking bubble baths, having a night routine, making sure I get my tasks done before I fucking take on other people's shit, that type of thing, putting myself first. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, you might actually be struggling with this too. And so I wanted to, this title of this podcast episode probably brought you in because you might be a little bit nosy about my life, but spoiler alert, the date that I went on was with myself, because I wanted to talk about self-love and how a lot of people, I've been talking to a lot of, especially females, because I feel like we live in a society, and let me not get down the fucking rabbit hole of feminism and all of this, but we live in a society as females, even me as an androgynous female, that tells us we need to be a certain way, think a certain way, date a certain person, it tells us what our role in society is, and this goes back to the book that I recommended last episode, Untamed by Glennon Doyle. If you are a woman, if you were born with a vagina, even if you're a trans woman, because you're still a woman, if you are a woman, you need to read this book. Hands down, you just need to read it. So we are, as women, told that we need to take on other people's responsibilities on top of our own, and basically forget about ourselves. Like, our role in society, regardless of where you're at in life, our role in society is to your role as a female is to forget about yourself. And especially if you have childhood trauma or things that kind of tie into that, you fucking forget about yourself. You forget to take care of yourself and your well-being. You forget to emotionally be there for yourself because you're looking outside of yourself for all of these things, and you forget to spend time with yourself. So like I said, I had this meeting with Lucky, this Zoom meeting, and she really just put things into perspective for me. Like, I guess I just needed a permission from somebody to take care of myself and actually do the things that I knew within myself that I needed to do that would put me in alignment and in the right place, mentally and emotionally and even physically. Like, I'm feeling a lot better. You know what I mean? Walking 3 miles a day for the last 2 weeks. But anyway, where was I going with this? Okay. So I needed that permission and I did that, and, I've struggled with loving myself, self-worth, and treating myself well, and not being codependent with people in the sense that I'm doing everything for everybody else, putting other people's priorities before my own, because I don't want those people to get mad at me for doing my own thing. I don't want those, you know what I mean? That's where I've been in my life. And I'm starting to shift completely. And So anyway, I'm feeling the shift of like, no, you know what? These are my goals in life. This is what I want to accomplish. And I'm always out here putting my shit to the side, the things that I want to get done, the things that I want to learn, whatever it is, putting my shit to the side for other people and their projects and their shit. Whether it's a relationship or a friendship or somebody needs advice, whatever. So I finally was like, I was given that permission to take 2 weeks to myself. And I was like, say less, you know, like, I'm gonna live that life. And I'm gonna live it really well. And I have been, you know. So now I'm on a schedule, and now I'm like really having these moments of enlightenment where I'm looking at self-love as treating myself right. I'm giving myself permission to treat myself right and be kind to myself with the logic that I would never treat somebody on the outside, and I never have treated somebody on the outside of me unfairly. So why would I treat myself unfairly? You know, I've never talked down to a person the way that I talk down to myself. When I'm in a relationship, I'm constantly telling that person, I love you, you're beautiful. I'm constantly wanting to spend time with that person. I'm constantly wanting to give to that person and put their dreams ahead of mine. Like, I'm constantly wanting to do all of that, which, by the way, that's not a healthy trait, putting other people's priorities and dreams before yours. That's codependency. We're coming to that realization. Let's take a sip of our lemon water, because that shit's good for digestion. Anywho, you're allowed to have your own dreams. You're allowed to have your own shit. You're allowed to have your own hobbies and things that light you up. And you're also allowed to have a relationship with somebody who allows you, not allows, because they're not the fucking controller of you, who respects that. I'm going off. I haven't even spoken about my date with myself yet, but I'll get there. I promise. You're allowed to do all of those things and still be in love with somebody and still have that healthy love. And your partner should be full enough within themselves and secure enough within themselves to look at you doing the things that you're doing for yourself and just only be proud and supportive. Period. And if they're anything less than proud and supportive of the things that you are doing, there needs to, at the very least, be some sort of conversation. This isn't about relationships, though. Let's bring it back. Shall we? Bring it back to, there's a lot of guilt and fear around spending time with ourselves. I think a lot of us are afraid to spend time with ourselves, truly spend time with yourself, right? Like, not just like, I'm doing for me because I'm like incessantly working out every fucking day. Like, no, like, be in solitude with yourself and check in with yourself and journal and listen to the way you feel, and go forth the way that you would listen to your partner if they had an issue with something, right? If you were in a relationship with somebody and they were upset with you about something you said or did, if you're a compassionate, decent human being, you're not going to write their feelings off. You're going to sit down and you're going to listen to them, and you're going to try to come to a conclusion. So why the fuck on God's green earth are we not doing that with ourselves when we all have this pent up, this built up trauma that we hold on to from childhood, from past relationships, from relationships with family members, whatever it is? We're not talking to ourselves. We're not telling ourselves like, hey, you called me an idiot the other day, self, for literally no fucking reason. That kind of hurt my feelings. Like, why are we not doing that? Because we're not understanding the damage that we do to ourselves. And we feel guilty when we want to spend time with ourselves, especially if we have children. If you're a mother, again, your role, once you become a mother, your role is to forget about yourself, forget about living life. You're a mother now. You got to give your life to your child, and that's it. And your spouse. You don't have a life anymore once you get married and have children. According to society, if you're a mother, But fuck that. There's this guilt built into us for treating ourselves with the same compassion that those people that point fingers at us want the compassion that we give. You know what I mean? They want us to be nice to them. They don't want us to be nice to ourselves. Doesn't make any fucking sense. So I'm in this place of looking at self-love and trying to really rewire my brain to think of it in a different way. Because I've been in therapy for years and I'm still in therapy, but it's always been it's always been how the fuck do I do? I've literally looked at my therapist and been like, how? Like, how do I do this? How do I create these healthy boundaries with people? How do I put myself first and not feel guilty? How do I tell this person, no, I don't want to do that without feeling like shit, like I'm letting somebody down? I don't know how to do this. So if you're like me and you're one of those people that doesn't know how to implement, literally does not know how to implement treating yourself right and putting yourself first, think of it this way, okay? And I'm so sorry it's taken me 10 minutes to get here, but whatever. Think of it like this. You are in a relationship with yourself. Even if you're married, you're in a really good relationship with somebody else, whatever the case may be, you are first and foremost in a relationship with yourself. And you got to really think. I burped. You got to really think about your relationships with other people and how you've treated other people in the past, right? Because if you're struggling with self-love and codependency issues, which kind of go hand in hand because you feel worthless, right? You feel like you have nothing to offer. So you have to constantly give, and give, because you feel like if you don't give, the person's not going to want you around just for you. They're going to want you only around for the things that you do for them, right? So if you're struggling with self-love, I'd be willing to bet you have some sort of codependency issue where you take on the burdens of everybody else, you put everybody else's priorities before yours, yada, yada. If that is you and I am speaking to you, this is how you have to think of doing for yourself first. Pretend that yourself is not yourself. Pretend that yourself is your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, however you identify, right? Pretend that you are separate from yourself. It sounds really weird. And pretend like you are in a romantic relationship, intimate relationship with yourself. And then ask yourself every single day, would I treat my spouse, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, would I treat them the way that I'm treating myself right now? If the answer is no, then you know you have to shift. You know you have to make a shift and start speaking to yourself the way we speak to it's not just, oh, I look at myself in the mirror and tell myself I love myself every single day. No, it's deeper. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than just looking at yourself and giving yourself some fucking affirmations that you probably don't believe. It's really digging deep to the ways that you have hurt yourself in the past. Whether that hurting yourself came from choosing to stick in a relationship that wasn't serving you anymore, friendship, whatever it is, right? Allowing somebody to step all over you, not saying no when you should have said no, talking down to yourself, constantly looking at yourself in the mirror and with disgust. Whatever it is, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and not just say, I love you, but A, feel it, and B, apologize. Because you are now in a relationship with yourself, right? That's how I'm tackling this. You are in a relationship with yourself, okay? And you are trying to mend this relationship with yourself because up until this point, your relationship with yourself has been pretty fucking rocky, okay? And so think of, again, a relationship outside of yourself. If you're in a relationship with somebody else and your relationship with that person has been rocky and you know that you've fucked up, are you just going to one day snap your fingers and just constantly start telling that person you love them and think that that's going to fix everything that you've done in the past and all the pain that you've caused them in the past? That's not going to work. That's not redemption. You have to make the conscious effort every single day to prove to this person that you truly, genuinely feel what you feel. It's gotta be, it's a choice, but it's also gotta be a feeling. It's a choice made from a true feeling, right? If you don't want to lose this person, you have to make that choice to be there. So now let's bring it back to ourselves. If you don't want to lose yourself again to another relationship, because how many of us, raise your fucking hands if you're listening or watching this, how many of us have given ourselves and given ourselves and given ourselves to a relationship where we literally forgot who the fuck we were? We forgot what the fuck we wanted. We forgot, holy shit, that was a project I wanted to do. How many of us have done that? So if you don't want to lose yourself ever the fuck again, if you don't want to ever let yourself down ever the fuck again, and you really want to mend the relationship with yourself, it's deeper than just affirmations and fucking meditating for 10 minutes a day. It's deeper. You have to really start building a foundation with yourself and talk to yourself as if you are not yourself. That's the only way you're going to trick your mind into, at least for me, it's the only way that can trick my mind into doing it and really feeling it, is when I look at myself in the mirror, I see a different person than myself, I guess, if that makes sense. It's like I know that it's me, obviously, I'm looking in the mirror, but how I've felt for so goddamn long in my life is not good enough, unworthy. Like I need to constantly be giving in order to be receiving. Like I owe people shit when they give me something. Like I can't just accept a gift just as a gift because, no, I have to give something back. But that's not always the case either. You know what I mean? But that's how, when you've felt that way for 30 some odd years of your life, or let's say 25 some odd years of your life, however long, right? When you felt that way for so long, it's not just a flip of a switch. It's work, deep work. Journaling every single day to talk to yourself about, okay, this is how I feel. This is the check-in. The same way that you talk to your spouse or loved one on the phone and you're like, hey baby, how was your day today? Like what made you tick today? What pissed you off? What made you sad? And what can I do to make it better? The same way you are there for your partner, right? Is the same way you need to be there for yourself. You can't call yourself on the phone. You can talk to yourself. You can journal. That's where journaling comes in. If you don't want to feel crazy, then you can journal and write it down and maybe read it out loud, you know, and come to revelations about, wow, I didn't know I felt that way. Because sometimes we push things down and, you know, keep things buried. And I'm trying to dig. That's where it comes from. I'm trying to dig so that I can bring the shit to the surface and literally, once it's brought to the surface, release it and never fucking feel it again and never think that way again and move forward in my life and get everything that I fucking deserve. Because I know deep down, we all know what we deserve. We're all born worthy. Every single one of us. None of us looks at any newborn infant and thinks, that kid's going to be an asshole. He's not going to be worthy of true love. he's not going to be worthy. Every single new pure soul on this planet is born worthy. What fucks us up is life and experience. It's that time in 5th grade when you weren't picked on the dodgeball team right away. It's that time in 8th grade when you were kicked in the vagina and told that you were fat and ugly. It's that time that, fill in the fucking blanks. It's the time that your dad chose to take your sister to a basketball game and not you, and you felt left out, and they snuck out of the house without you knowing, and you felt left out and shitty, and like nobody cared about you. True story, by the way. Thanks, Pops. Fucking asshole. Just kidding. I'm over it now. But still, those things add up. Those things in our lives from our childhood that happened to us, they add up. And they perpetuate that reoccurring thought that we are not good enough, that we are always meant to be left out in the cold, that we are always meant to be abandoned, no matter what, because we are not good enough for anything else. And that's a false statement. Those are false beliefs. And how do you fucking shift that? Well, first, you got to realize and recognize those false beliefs, but also recognize where they come from. And they come from the deep, into the thick of it. You got to go into the thick of it. It's more than just affirmations in a mirror and looking good on the outside. Anybody can look good on the outside. I know so many fucking people who look good on the outside, but do they feel good on the inside? Do they tell themselves on the inside how worthy they are? No. The prettiest people do the ugliest things, Kanye West said. You know why? Because the prettiest people don't feel pretty on the inside. Yeah, I'm walking. I'm feeling good about myself. And sometimes when you feel good on the outside, yeah, you fucking have this new level of confidence. Absolutely. If you look back to where I was weight-wise in 2017 versus now, you can see the confidence and how it's built. It's built into me, and how, I'm a different person. I carry myself differently. Absolutely. Taking care of yourself physically is part of it. But there's two other parts. It's the physical, it's the mental and emotional, and spiritual, for me, at least. And spirituality, we'll get into that in another podcast, can mean whatever the fuck you want it to mean, whatever you believe, right? But you can't just hit that one part. You gotta hit it all. And the most important part for me, in my belief, is the emotional and mental. That trumps everything. Because if you're not in the right mind state to love yourself, yeah, you might take care of yourself physically for a good amount of time, but then something will fucking happen that might trigger you and bring up a past trauma, and there you go. You're off the bandwagon, I love this feeling of being sober. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be sober. I'm not going to drink for like 2-3 weeks, see how I feel. Can I just tell you, now that I'm starting, it's Friday. This is like my last weekend in solitude. I'm ready to go see my friends again and hang out. I have I have plans this Sunday to go with friends. I have no desire to even put a Truly to my mouth. That's how good I feel. I have no desire to put anything into my body that makes me feel anything less than how I'm feeling right now. And I know that alcohol, for me, is one of those things that makes me feel like shit, emotionally and physically. But I think the emotional portion of the self-love is the portion that we forget and we neglect, because it's the hardest one. It's the hardest one. Maybe I won't talk about my date in this episode. I don't know. But the emotional and mental is the hardest one because it's the deepest one. And it's the one that hurts the most because you got to go through all of the shit that has happened to you in the past. The things you've allowed, the things people have done to you that you've allowed, right? I allowed this person to take advantage of me. I allowed this person to beat me down for 3 years straight. I allowed this person to whatever it is. I allowed this person to speak to me this way. Whatever it is, you have to go through all of the things that you've allowed and ask yourself, why? Why did I allow that? Why would I allow that for my child? You know, if somebody treated my child that way, would I tell my child, yeah, stick it out a little bit longer? You know, would I tell my child, like, don't worry about it? That, you know, like they're just dealing with their issues, whatever. No, I would want my child to choose themselves. So choosing yourself, while it may be fucking difficult, is the best thing that you can do. In the book Untamed by Glennon Doyle, she says, you know, I'm married. She's married to Abby Wambach. Is that how you say her last name? She's married to the famous soccer player. She left her husband for a female, yada yada. Not left her husband for a female, but like realized, holy shit, I'm in love with a woman with 3 children, and I've been living a lie this entire time. Whatever. But she said in the book, as much as, like, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, as much as I am in love with Abby, and as much as she's my rock, my person, whatever, if there were ever a situation where I needed to choose me or her, she's like, I will choose me every single time. I will never disappoint myself or let myself down or abandon myself ever again. And it's like we are a society of people who have these crazy abandonment issues, and then we wonder why. And it's like, well, how does it make sense for us to be these codependent people where we don't want, it's this vicious cycle, right? We don't want people to abandon us, so we continue to abandon ourselves to give them everything that they want so that they don't abandon us. When realistically, when they do end up abandoning us because they are separate from us and whatever, when they do end up abandoning us, we don't feel like we have anything left because we've given all of ourselves, we've abandoned ourselves to keep another person around. When realistically, in any situation, there is nothing you could ever do for a person that would genuinely keep them around if they don't want to be around. Everybody else chooses to do for themselves. Everybody else chooses essentially what's best for them. But we're out here expending and expending and expending, just hoping that we'll expend enough that a person will realize they love us. A person will realize they want to be with us. A person will realize that they can't be without us. That's unhealthy. So fucking unhealthy. And who do we forget in that process? We forget ourselves. We forget that it should not matter what you're doing for another person. What should matter is that person genuinely loves you for you. And loves you doing for you. And so these are the shifts in my thinking that I'm having, these epiphanies. And so I went on a date with myself, and I had a fear of going out to a restaurant by myself. I've had a fear of like standing on my own 2 feet, being independent, truly independent of everybody, you know, always feeling like I need somebody. And the reason why that yearning for an outside source, it's not real, right? It's like I need this person. I need that person. I can't do this without you. I can't do this. No, you can't do it without yourself. But we project it onto other people. We project that need onto other people because we don't want to face the fact that we are not being there for ourselves. It's crazy. It's very deep. Like I said, it's so much deeper than just like, I do these daily affirmations and I look at myself and yes, do that. Continue to do that. I look at myself every fucking day and I cry every goddamn day every time I say the words I love you to myself because it's so foreign for me to hear it from me, right? And it feels good and it feels empowering and I really, really feel into it, right? All of that's wonderful. The walk that I go on, that I do for myself, I fucking look forward to it every goddamn day. I will be doing it 7 days a week. I will be doing it 7 fucking days a week because I've realized I feel lost when I don't. Crazy feeling. Never thought I'd feel that way about fucking walking 3 miles a day, but here I am needing my morning walk. Like that's like my most important thing. I fucking look forward to it. Anyway, we project that need for others onto those people in our lives when realistically the only thing we need to do is be there for ourselves. And when we're there for ourselves, this crazy thing happens. We no longer need those people. We may want them. We may want them to, you may want to hang out with your friends. You may want to hang out with your boyfriend or girlfriend. You may want to be around that person, but you don't need anything from them. You just want. There's a difference. When that shift happens, woo, you on fire. You know you in a good place. Like you seriously know, like, there are things and people like I want. Nope. I don't need you though anymore. I no longer at least feel like I need you. I don't need to, it's like, it all ties into anxiety. Like let me give you a scenario. You have anxiety. You're having an anxiety attack. You feel like, and I'm not against having a support system, right? Like people that you can go to if things really like get out of control. People that you can vent to, whatever. I'm not beyond that whatsoever. But your first line of defense should be yourself and the tools that you have, right? Part of self-love is also creating implementing the tools for ourselves to keep calm. That's the best way I could put it. Because again, if you have those codependency issues, the abandonment issues, they all tie in. You probably have anxiety. You've probably struggled with panic attacks. Hi, here I am. My name's Tori. Same. So again, part of self-love is practicing every single day your meditations and breathing so that when you are feeling a little tinge out of control, all you need is yourself and what you've taught yourself, which is how to breathe through it, right? And if things get really, really fucking crazy, okay, call your friend, call your girlfriend, call your boyfriend, whatever it is. But when you no longer feel dependent, like my feelings and emotions are dependent on your feelings and emotions. When you no longer have that sort of tie, I need you here at all times in order to feel good about myself. I need to talk to you in order to feel worthy. When you no longer have that, and even take it for like a step a little further, when I'm having anxiety, a little bit of anxiety, I no longer need you to talk me down because I have the tools in my tool belt to give to myself, you're in a dangerous place, my love, when you get to that point. 'Cause you're ridding yourself of the codependent ties. And it's not their fault. That's a you thing. That's another thing. I always go back to accountability. We have to take accountability for our shit. It's not their fault that you depended on them. And it's not your fault either. It's just something that you've done that you need to fix and work on, right? And all of that ties into self-love. Knowing that we can stand on our own 2 feet without anybody. Validation from anybody, you know? Before going into this, like, solitude, I was in a really delicate fucking place. Like, genuinely thinking to myself, like, oh my God, with all of this anxiety and panic attack that I've been having, I can't even, like, be alone with myself right now. That's how bad my anxiety had gotten. I thought to myself, like, how am I ever going to move out of this fucking place? How am I ever going to be able to live on my own by myself? Like, something I really, really want to do. How am I ever going to be able to do that if I can't even get a handle on my anxiety? Like, if I'm relying on other people outside of me to take care of my anxiety. If I'm at this point where I feel like I can't even sleep alone without having a fucking panic attack, how am I going to go find an apartment by myself? You know? You become that, like, delicate and dependent. And then, you know, certain things happened. I started gradually getting a little bit better. But I was still holding on to old habits and old ways of thinking and stuff like that. Drinking and vaping and all of this shit, and smoking when I was drinking and whatever, right? Still, like, holding on to those old patterns, and then wondering, like, okay, why is nothing really severely changing? Like, you know, I still don't feel fully better. I'm still having, like, anxiety. It's just manageable anxiety. And then I started really realizing what I needed to do, which was create a plan, and a plan for self-help, self-love, whatever it was. And that leads me right back to my conversation, my Zoom call with Lucky. She was like, take time, solitude. Like, she's like, dude, solitude. Don't see anybody. Put your phone away. And that's another thing. I put my phone on do not disturb. Not do not disturb. I put it on, like, sleep mode during the day when I'm trying to get things done. When this 2 weeks is up, that's still standing. I don't want to hear from nobody. I literally don't fucking bother me. I want to be in control of when I talk to people from now on, you know? It's overwhelming. So it's like, she said, she kind of gave me that permission to go into solitude and do what I've been doing. And now that I've been really creating these habits for myself, this is the clearest of mind, the most productive I've been in over 6 months. Easy. Probably longer than 6 months. But, like, at least 6 months. This is the clearest of mind, the healthiest of mind and body and fucking spirit that I've felt. I've never felt more in tune with myself. I've never felt more in tune with others and in touch with my intuition and trusting my gut and trusting myself. Because again, it goes back to self-love. When we don't trust ourselves, we don't trust that little pull within us. So we have to fix the trust within ourselves. Self-love is about having a relationship with yourself and trusting what you are telling yourself, right? Again, when you're in a relationship with somebody and you love somebody and you trust that person, when that person gives you a suggestion or tells you like, I'd watch out for that person, or I don't know if that's the right move, you respect them and trust them enough and know that they love you enough to give you the good advice, the right advice for yourself, for your greater good. We have to know that within ourselves as well. We have to know that we can trust what we're telling ourselves. And so I'm learning to do that. That's what the self-love journey is about. People are like, yeah, I did the self-love thing. No, it's not something you did. It's not something past tense. It's something you do every fucking day, 365 days a year, 7 days a fucking week. And it never fucking stops. You know why? Because as long as you're alive, you are yourself and you are with yourself. It's not like, yeah, okay, I love myself now. All right. Would you do that in a relationship? A long-term relationship with a partner you want to spend the rest of your life with? Yeah, I did the relationship thing. And, we're still in a relationship, but I don't really need to do anything now because they know I love them. No, you have to make a conscious effort every single day when you're in a marriage or in a relationship that you want to keep. You have to make a conscious effort every single day to show that person that you love them, and they need to do the same for you. And if not, it's disharmony, it's insecurity, it's whatever. Things come to the surface, issues, right? So why the fuck do we think that self-love is just something you do for like a couple of months and then, now I'm good? You wouldn't do that in a relationship. I would never do that. Yeah, I told her I loved her, for a couple of months. Now I don't have to do it because she knows. Oh, really? Okay. Let me know how your marriage works out then if you keep that mindset. We wouldn't do that in our outside relationships. So why the fuck do we think that it's like, I can't tell you how many people are like, yeah, I did the self-love thing. And in my head, I don't say it out loud, but in my head, I'm like, what? You did it? Like it was some sort of retreat that you went to, or like event, like a vacation? You did it for 2 weeks? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, I was on a self-love journey. Was? Are you alive right now? Yes. So you need to literally be loving yourself every fucking day and making it a point to show yourself that love every fucking day. Especially once you get into a relationship. I went out to eat by myself for the first time ever, faced my fear. I went on a date with myself. And I felt like people were staring at me at first, like maybe even taking pity on me, which was funny. Because again, we live in a society where it's like, you shouldn't be eating by yourself. Why? Why can't I eat by myself? I gotta eat. Like, what the fuck? I sat down. I was on my phone. I talked to a couple of friends, like on my phone. I looked around. I talked to the waitress, whatever, right? And then I thought to myself, this can't just be a one-off thing, especially when I get into a relationship. When I get into a relationship, my girlfriend is going to know that at least once a month, I'm going to go out to eat by myself to either my favorite restaurant or whatever. I'm going to take myself out on a date. And you know what? I'm going to encourage my girlfriend to do the fucking same for herself. Literally by herself. Do something for yourself. Even if she doesn't, let's say, feel comfortable going out to eat by herself, right? I want a relationship where she's encouraging me to do something at least once a month for me, where I'm dating myself, and she does the same. Go pamper yourself. Don't answer your phone, baby. Call me when you're done doing that. When you're relaxed and you want to talk or whatever it is. That to me is what I fucking desire, because it is very easy to fall back into old patterns once we fall in love with somebody and once we find somebody that we want to give our time to. It's very easy to get back into those codependent things. My girl my girl's gonna vibe on the same frequency as me, right? So she's gonna give back to herself just as much as she gives to me, and vice versa. And it's gonna be two individuals who know how to give to themselves, that come together and fill their cups up to overflow and give to each other, right? It's not gonna be this give and take. It's gonna be give and take, but it's not gonna be this one person's a giver, one person's a taker, imbalanced shit. That's going to be my fucking relationship. I'm putting it out there right now. I'm manifesting it. I will accept nothing less than that at this point. But we have to consistently be doing that for ourselves. Every single day, making a mindful, it's intentional. You have to intend. I'm going to intend the same way you would wake up, the same way I would wake up if I had a girlfriend and be like, today I want to make her happy. What can I do? What can I do to show her that I care, right? You have to wake up with that same intention for yourself. What can I do for myself today to show myself, other than my morning routine, which is good for yourself, right? That needs to be every single day. What can I do special for myself? Whether it's taking a fucking bubble bath or fucking literally, it could be like, it could be fucking masturbating, like fucking making yourself come. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is you're giving to yourself, you have to do it every single day from now until the day that you take your last goddamn breath. Because if you don't respect you and you don't love you and you're not there for you, nobody else is going to be. That's the moral of this story. I am done here preaching McPreachington. I hope I provided some sort of value from this, and like y'all, got something out of this. Let me know. Comment below, fucking email me, message me, comment on the podcast portion of this, whatever it is. Let me know what you think of this video, this podcast episode. I love you guys very much. Go love yourself. Peace out.